Hello and welcome back. It's Christmas Day here, so happy holidays to everybody. I do apologize. It's pretty cold here today, so the furnace might fire up. I'll try to work around that sound. But basically today we're going to pick up where we left off last time, which was at kind of an impasse with removing the power supply and the original display from the cage. I did have to go and use some extra safety equipment, but now here we are with a nice empty cage. Lots of room to work in. The old display is gone. The old power supply is gone. And we have kind of our blank slate to go on. As a lot of people know right now, it's been kind of hard to procure parts. So we had a little bit of a gap there with everything going on for the holidays and trying to get some parts, but today is kind of going to be all about the parts haul, and I think we should go ahead and test fit everything. Well, not test fit, but we should test the parts, make sure everything works properly, and kind of go through what we got. We're still waiting on some parts. I'm still waiting on the EC20 extension for the power supply, because our power supply is going to be internal, and then we're going to have an EC20 extension that comes out of the power supply to a plug here on this side, and that'll be screwed in. That way you can just plug in a power cord, externally, and you don't have to break it open every time you want to plug it in. But I'm really curious to try out the screen, because if that doesn't work, then we're kind of screwed on this whole project. Really, everything really hinges on the screen working. I ordered some sheets of acrylic polycarbonate for a screen protector, so the screen's going to kind of mount onto the back of that acrylic polycarbonate, which is just a kind of plexiglass. So that'll be right here. And then we're waiting on our 200 millimeter fan that goes here. So, yeah, we're waiting on a couple parts and pieces, but we got a lot of cool parts in. I made the pilgrimage last week over to Micro Center, and we actually upgraded some of the parts that we were originally going to go with. I got a pretty good sale deal on a motherboard, so that should make life quite a bit easier for this build, actually. Another thing that was really hard to get was power supply. So we're going to be taking kind of a gamble on a power supply. It's a brand I've never used before, so I'm not too thrilled about using a brand that I've never used before. But as far as getting a Compaq power supply, it was hard to get one that wasn't $200 for 650 watts. But this one is certified gold, and I've never used it before, so we'll check it all out. Let's get some parts out. Let's check out what we've got, and then let's do a test run and see if we can get a boot on the screen that we ordered. So here's one of our first parts we got. Picked up this very nice little ASRock Fatality mini ITX motherboard, 525 gig M.2 SSD. Already preloaded. It was out of another computer that I had upstairs that I figured I might as well go ahead and upgrade that to a 1 terabyte NVMe. So I did that. So I took that. That's going to be in here. Our CPU, we're still going with the 1700X. We're using the stock cooler because I also picked up a 3700X to replace the 1700X in my main computer. So we got a 1700X, 3700X stock cooler. We've only got our 8 gigs of DDR4 here. We can upgrade that at any time though, so I'm not super worried about that, because this isn't going to be, this is just going to be for some gaming and stuff like that. And we really don't need that much RAM, but I would like to try to procure a set of 16 gigabyte set to put in here just for a little added extra headroom. But this will definitely do for now. This should be just fine. This motherboard is a nice little package. Picked this up for 80 bucks as part of the kit there at Micro Center. Gotta love that bundle deal. If you're already picking up a new CPU and you need a motherboard for something, man, as soon as you bundle it with it and you get that extra 20 bucks off of each, that's the way to go. So a little bit of an unexpected upgrade to this, because we were going to use another motherboard that I actually had laying around, but it was an M-ATX form factor, so this is going to give us so much more room inside of there, so that's going to be awesome. So we got that. Super excited about that. One of our Noctua fans came in. This is an 80 millimeter. I'm going with Compaq fans for the whole thing, because one, the Compaq's 200 millimeter fan is going to be in the front, so I just decided to go Compaq for all the fans. Plus, I'm kind of considering painting the internal cage black. So let me know what you guys think about that. I'm thinking about, after we get everything drilled and cut and completely put together, you know, taking all the guts back out of it and doing a nice black paint job on the internal cage. But we got our 80 mils, 2000 RPM PWM style. This will go above the EC20, EC20 C14, I think is what the connection is called. So this will go above that. This is going to be one of the exhaust fans. We're still kind of working out how exactly we want to do all the exhausting, but we'll get into that here in a second. We got our USB 3.0 header to PCI slot for a couple of USB ports, because you need USB ports. So we got that came in. We got our roll of neoprene. This is for mounting the polycarbonate acrylic to the front. Kind of just a side buffer that we'll put around. Just kind of some padding there, and then we're going to come up with some straps to kind of hold everything into place. But this is going to be a nice squishy buffer that'll block out any light leakage. We'll kind of just make a square with it, and then it'll be good. So neoprene. I came across these. I've seen these from years past, and I never really put any second thought into them, but they seem to be decent quality fans, the bearings and everything in them, and I'm not really sure how much air these are going to move, but I thought we could give them a try and see if they could add some extra exhausting. Now, I ordered the PWM version, but these came in Molex. So I think I might have a Molex fan controller somewhere. I'm gonna have to dig through some boxes and see if I got something that at least you can pop open the case, you know, and if these are, you know, moving some decent air, we will get those put in there. We'll give them a try. I mean, anything that cuts down on how much metal we have to remove from that internal cage, I'm all about. And if these mean that we can, you know, have, you know, some more exhaust horsepower, then I'm really all about it. So we can check these out. Like I said, they were like $5 or $6 a piece, so you know, 10-12 bucks for the pair. I figured it's worth a shot. We'll see if they work. We have quite a few slots to work with, because we're only going to occupy 2 of our PCI slots that are already in here, and these are each double, so these are going to occupy 4. But we have quite a few PCI slots that we can work with, so I'll put one, will occupy these 2, and I'll put one here at the end. The way that they hang out, I might be able to actually have one in the very end slot, because there's a little bit of room inside of there, because they're not quite true double slot, they're like slot 0.7. So we'll check it out and see if we have enough room, because I'd like to put in a 2.0 and 3.0 expansion. That way we can have, you know, this is the 3.0 expansion for the internal 3.0 header. So I'd like to also put a 2.0 in there. So as long as we can get, you know, at least I want to have at least 4 USB ports available for, you know, the one high speed for maybe some data transfer, external hard drive, something like that, and then the 2.0 if we want to, you know, plug in a mouse or something like that. So, which I'm working on that too. I'm thinking that I'm going to go actually with the keyboard. I think I'm going to go wireless with that. Now I know that's gaming heresy, but I mean, this thing's really a showpiece. So I think if we go with a wireless style control board for the keyboard, and then just have I want to do a Type C connection, and then we'll have like one of those cool barrel plug aviator cables for it. That way you can charge the internal battery on the keyboard, and then you could also plug it in. That way you'd have a wired keyboard experience too. So I think that's the route I'm going to go with that. And if that's the case, then, you know, Corsair and Logitech both have done some really cool things with wireless stuff. And I do have a wireless Corsair mouse that I use with my laptop, and I'm completely happy with that. And I have a bunch of friends that use the Logitech stuff, and they really like that too. So, I mean, you know, input lag, latency, all that stuff, it should be just fine. It's not like I'm going to go out and compete in any kind of esports titles or anything like that with this. This is, you know, this is just for fun. So we also have the ability to use included Bluetooth because of the wireless. You know, it's got a Wi-Fi card and Bluetooth built right into that motherboard. So that'll be very, very cool. So we'll try those. If we like these, cool. If these don't seem to be really doing anything and our temperatures are still really hot, I guess we're back to cutting out the side. So really, it's no loss on that. So we'll check them out and see what happens. Power button. This is really cool. I really like this power button. So I found these on Amazon, and this is a 16 millimeter. I ordered a green one. So it's just a simple power button, but it's got a nice feeling switch on it. I think I'm going to put this right in the old hole here where the screen brightness knob was at. So I'll just have to drill that out just a little bit, because this is, like I said, a 16 millimeter, and this will go right in there, and then we can still use the existing tube with the USB-C cable, and that's where we'll have our cable, so you can plug the motherboard in, so it'll be Type C through the old mouse cable hole. So that'll be cool. But yeah, that's pretty neat. Feels so good. That's a nice feeling button. All right, moving on. We've got our graphics card. This is one I had around here. This is actually pulled from my server rack. Vega 56 blower style. Yeah, I mean, it's a Vega 56. You know, it's going to put us right in between a 1070 and 1070 Ti, which should be just more than plenty to run anything that we want to run on this setup. This is actually currently here in my workshop. It's in my basement. In my basement, I have a full room scale VR setup, and this is what runs the VR. So everything runs great on that. We play, you know, Half-Life Alyx and all that stuff. So it's kind of outside of my main graphics card and my main CPU. This is what I had kind of available for this project, with everything being crazy. Now, if by some off chance here in the next month or so I'm able to get my hands on a, you know, a 3060 Ti or a 3070, something like that, then we'll be replacing this with a GTX 1080, and this can go back in the server rack, because this fits in my server perfectly. I use a HPDL 360 with an LFF conversion, and that's my file server slash VR room setup. So it's a little unconventional there, but it's a 16 core dual CPU Xeon, 32 thread, 48 gigs of RAM. So it's pretty sweet. Yeah, the per clock performance and the clock speed on the Xeons isn't that high, but you know, VR games aren't all that demanding. So that whole setup works out really good. Next up, we've got our unknown power supply. Yep, it's a Montech. I have never used one before, but it is 80 plus gold, and it comes with a 5-year warranty, and it's small. So at under $100, this is about what we get. So we'll see. I'm skeptical, so let's make sure that we don't get rid of that receipt in case this thing is just garbage. So far, I've had it open, had a look at it. It's actually a nice little kit. Kind of feels like a Thermaltake power supply, which I'm not crazy about those, but it's pretty small. I wouldn't say it's a true SFX small. They call it compact, but it is small. Let's see here. I've got a 120 millimeter fan sitting in here somewhere. Yeah, there we go. So it claims to be 150 millimeters. So this is a standard 120 millimeter arc fan, and it's, yeah, I'd say okay. I'd buy that. So we'll see. It's pretty small. Says it's, you know, Japanese capacitors and all that stuff. So I don't know. Well, we're gonna give it a test, see if it works. Like I said, if it doesn't, we will send it back. Came with a nice little baggie with all the cables in it. And we're gonna need some of these because we're gonna give this a test run today. So we'll need those. Oh, another thing that we picked up was I was trying to figure out how I wanted to do like all the fan grills for all the exhaust and intake fans, and I just saw one of these at work one day in the office, and I was like, hey, those will work really good. So I ordered a hanging file crate, and it's got this nice mesh on it. And I think this is going to work great. We can cut out any size we need out of the stuff. It comes with, you know, all 4 sides and a bottom to make the crate for the hanging folders. So we got plenty of it to work with, and it's only like $12. So instead of having to go like down to a metal supply house and, you know, buy some like expanded steel or something like that, this stuff should be perfect, and it's cheap. So I don't mind cutting it off. Let's see here. All right. So we're going to use the power supply box as our workbench. Open up our bag of cables. Get everything out that we need. Let's see. Alright. We're going to go into fast. We'll speed this up while I put this all together, and then when we're ready to push the power button, we'll slow it back down and chit chat.
Awesome. Well, looks like we've got it all working now. The screen's a little bit dimmer than I had actually hoped for, but we'll take it because it looks really good, especially for like a little $30 screen. I did discover that our cheap power supply has really nasty cables, so that's one minus in the column for it. But next step is unfortunately I'll wait for a couple more parts. But if you guys are enjoying this PC mod, please make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for the next episode. Thanks everybody for stopping by. Have a good one, and I'll see you later.